think it was just the story of three women. You know, it's quite unusual to get three central characters, female, strong, complicated. There isn't a villain. There isn't a heroine in some ways. I mean, you know, Sofia is who we track, but
Right.
she's deeply flawed, you know. So I thought that there was a lot of colors in there, a lot of psychology, a lot of emotion. And initially, I was asked simply to adapt it, but I said, I don't want to give it away. You know, I don't want someone else to be making this material. I want to make it. So there was something that deeply resonated with me about their relationships, about codependency, about love. I felt like I had a lot to give to it. Well, the book, you know, 95% of it is first person. You know, it's all through Sofia's eyes, her words. So obviously that's already a huge leap. You know, you're going from inside Sofia to outside. So you lose a lot of the humor, you know, you lose the rhythm of her thoughts. And then occasionally there's an outsider in the book talking about looking at her. And that outsider, Deborah said, was Ingrid, you know, saying, look at the girl.
Right.
Here she is, the foreign girl. And so I thought that was fascinating. And I thought that we need to watch her and watch her go from sort of quietude to her roaring against her mother and against her father and against, you know, everything that has been thrown at her. So I knew that I wanted to almost trap and free her. And the structure, I felt that the film would start slowly and then kind of volition would happen. And I just wanted the ending to be like on a very high dramatic point. So with that in mind, you know, I went away from the book and I made my own impression of the book. And then I went back to the book for more details, for more ideas. Right. But basically, you know, my first draft was kind of quite different to the book. And then I kind of went back and made some more adjustments. And Deborah Levy would read drafts of the book and would give her of the script. Yeah. So, and the producers would also give their ideas. And very early on, Fiona Shaw was on board. So we would talk script and talk character. So it was not completely alone. You know, there was some collaborative work. But really, I just wanted to get into their psyche, but without voiceover, you know? So you needed somebody who had that intensity. And I thought Emmamackey had that absolute beautiful instinct and intensity for Sofia. They do, and they hadn't met before, you know, so on set was when they first met. We didn't have time for rehearsal, we didn't have a budget for rehearsal, and Vicky Krieps too had no rehearsal. So, you know, you've got these two intense relationships, Emma with Vicky, Emma with Fiona. And they're just such amazing actors. They just come on and, you know, they've absorbed the script. They know who they think they are. You know, we talked a little bit, me and Emma, for half a day in a hotel room, going through the script and the different temperatures. What's the worst moment for her? What's the best moment? But really, when those actors come together, there's a generosity of spirit and a brilliance. And you just watch that ignition kind of happen. And then you might make a suggestion here and there of like, you know, maybe it's a bit cooler, or maybe you take more time with this. But really, they were so consummate that they didn't need very much guidance. They just needed me to sort of create a good space for them, which I did. And Christopher Blaufelt, amazing cinematographer, you know, held them with his lens, you know, and we just watched them. Very, very carefully, you know. So I asked Matthew Herbert to compose the music. He had done Disobedience, which I worked on, and I loved that music. And I knew that I didn't want anything very narrative. You know, I didn't want the love scenes to have love music. You know, I wanted something kind of working against it in a way, counterpoint. And Matthew and I kept using this word flinty. You know, we wanted something quite muscular. And so that was interesting, just creating sounds and almost having like a theme for Sofia, but it wasn't sentimental. It was kind of strange and brilliant. And then on top of that, Rana Eid, who works with Matthew a lot, is based in Lebanon, and she did the whole sound design. And again, it was about claustrophobia, it was about the dog, it was about the cicadas, it was about, simple things like the humming of a fridge in the apartment. So that, how loud do we want the fridge, so that when you're inside, there are these kind of industrial noises, and when you're outside, it's all gone. And Rana was working in Lebanon, when war was almost declared. So she was doing this incredible job, and we kept saying, don't worry if you can't do it. She said, no, it's really helping me, to kind of concentrate my energies with the film is a good distraction away from world troubles, so it was all quite dramatic. But Rana just did incredible work, as did Matthew. Yeah. Well, we talked a lot before filming. We sort of had a folder of, here's the shot, this is how it'll look. It'll be a close-up, it'll be mid-distance. And we wanted to sort of earn the close-ups, not just have close-up after close-up. We wanted quite a lot of kind of distant bodies in space. And we looked at still photographers like Francesca Woodsman and Bill Brandt and different compositions. And so Christopher built up this very beautiful encyclopedia of visual references. So we knew a little bit how we wanted the film to feel tonally. And then Andrei Ponkratov, our production designer, he went to Almería and he kind of replicated things like the Spanish jellyfish hut that would be in our Greece. And he got stickers from Almería that went on the cars and on the cafes. And so we kind of made, Spain within Greece. And the reason we shot in Greece was simply numbers, that it was a bit cheaper than Spain. They do, and the crew were fantastic, and the production company Heretic were great, and they also have a tax credit, so the producers were very attracted to that.
Yeah. I see. I
think with a project, there's different factors. There's the story, whether it's important, because you're going to give a lot of time and energy and quite a lot of your life into this story. And it almost does become like a love affair, so it might be like a difficult lover, but as long as it's interesting, you can spend a lot of time with the lover. And then with the project, there will be people who are attached to it. So, previously I've wanted to do a screenplay because there's an amazing director who I want to work with, things like that. So it's really like, who are your team and what is the story? And also, am I the right person to tell it? What is it, not just about the project, but what is it about me that I can give to it? Because there might be someone, in the past I've been offered amazing projects and I've sort of thought, no, someone else is a better fit for that. So it's really kind of like a dance in a way. Are you the best dance partner for this project? Will that dance partner make you happy, but will you also make it happy? So it's quite intricate. Yeah, in the book, she is a student of anthropology and she works in a little coffee bar in London. And sometimes she sleeps in the storehouse above, like a kind of, little box room above the cafe. And she has quotes by Margaret Mead, the anthropologist, on her wall. So these are very important to her. Now, we didn't show any of the London story, but I wanted it to be in her sort of her body and soul that she's this anthropologist. And I suppose it's because she's watched her mother, from age 4 in a wheelchair, and, the different sort of human creaturely effect that pain has on her mother. And so I suppose she's looking at patterns of human behavior.
Thank you so much for your time, Emma. I had a good time talking to you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.